Hey everybody, I'm Tommy, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a circular saw track without needing a table saw in order to build the track itself. Whether it's your first time here, or even if you've been here before, welcome to 1 Minute Workbench. So this is actually the third saw track that I have built. And I built this one partly because I've received so many requests from people asking me to show how to build a track without needing to use a table saw in order to do it. However, I also wanted to build the micro shop project without using my table saw. So I constructed this track that would allow me to get perfectly straight cuts while working on the micro shop project, all without needing to use my table saw. The first thing I did was make sure the blade on my circular saw was perfectly square. I then marked the factory edge of a piece of plywood. I cut a strip just a few inches wide. Since I'm making this cut freehand, only the marked factory edge is going to be usable. I then used that factory edge to get a nice straight cut on another strip, again, just a few inches wide. Notice here though that I marked the freehand cut so I'd know not to use it. So on this second strip, the marked edge is the one I'm not going to use, and the unmarked edge is actually the good one. So again, this is the first strip I cut, and you can see that I'm putting the marked factory edge towards the inside and the freehand cut towards the outside. I secured it in place with pin nails and then checked it one last time to make sure it was perfectly straight. I then set my circular saw on the track, making sure that the blade and guard were both fully retracted. Remember, for this second strip, the marked side is the freehand cut, and the unmarked side is actually the one I want to use for my track. For installing this second strip, I folded a sheet of paper in half and used it as a shim. With one side of the saw's base pressed firmly up against the first strip, I placed the shim in between the opposite side and the second strip of wood. This ensures that the saw won't be too tight and will easily slide up and down the length of the track. I repeated this process of using the shim and the saw's base to get consistent spacing for every section of the track. When I was sure everything was perfect, I added screws. This just saves me from needing to use clamps and having to wait for the glue to dry. I then removed the excess and cut a couple of small strips to act as end stops, which I then secured in place with glue and screws. With the end stops in place, I made a very light cut just to score a line that shows the blade's location. I drilled sight holes at several points along the line, drilling only part of the way through to start, and then finished drilling those holes from the opposite side. This helps to reduce the chances of tear out, and that means the sight holes will have sharper, cleaner edges. And that of course means it'll be easier to accurately align the track with a mark. With the holes drilled, I then plunged my blade the rest of the way through and made a cut that was the full length of the track, limited only by the stop blocks, which of course keeps you from cutting the track in half. At that point, the track was ready to use, so I set up and made my first cut for the micro shop project. Since I have a lot of sight holes in this track, I didn't even bother to draw a full length line. I just marked 2 lines at opposite sides, being careful to make sure that they were at the exact same dimension from the end. Then, using the sight holes to be able to see inside, I aligned the slot with my marks and made the cut. The cut turned out just great. Hey, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell icon so you get notified every time there's a new episode. I'd love to hear what you think of this circular saw track in the comment section below. And if you have any quick questions you want answered, hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. And until the next time I see you, I hope you have fun building something.